Welcome to the What's Your Truth podcast, the show that not only showcases the best of independent artists, but also explores what inspires them, what drives them, and what they consider their fundamental purpose as an artist to be. With me today is Stormy Stokes. I came across Stormy very much by chance at a live event in Los Angeles, and I'll never forget just how floored I was by the angelic tone and sheer power projecting from this little lady. A singer since she was 2 years old, Stormy's mom was her initial influence as an incredible gospel singer in her own right. It would appear that Stormy is, as she says, a chip off the old block. Having performed in front of crowds numbering in the thousands and at venues and on shows including the Key Arena in Seattle, Oakland Universal Hilton, the Brown Derby in Hollywood, and the KUBE 93 radio show in Seattle, Stormy is an absolute force to be reckoned with. Aside from all of this, she also regularly performs at events ranging from weddings and birthday parties to community concerts and everything in between. Stormy is one of the most powerful voices I've had the privilege of witnessing firsthand, and she's an absolute wonderful person to boot. It's an honor to have her on the show, ladies and gentlemen, Stormy Stokes.
Hey, well, thank you so much. That was just awesome. Who is this lady? No, I'm just kidding.
And also, you have like one of the coolest like stage names that's just your name. Like Stormy Stokes, what a great name.
Thank you. Yeah, my father named me Stormy, and my mom. It was so funny. They were going back and forth, and my mother did not want to name me Stormy, but my father was like, yeah, it's going to be Stormy. and it was so. And so here I go as a child, listening to my mother sing and love to hear her sing. And she would just be, I don't know, she would sing songs like jazz classics, jazz standards, like What a Difference a Day Makes by Dinah Washington. And she would listen to Nat King Cole and, all the legends and stuff. So as a child, I listened to a lot of that music, and I have projected that when I do sing, because it's, that was real music, back in the day.
Yes. Real music, man, you said it. So true. So true. All right. Well, let's roll into things, shall we?
Sure.
Amazing. So first question for you is, how did you decide that you wanted to become a singer?
I decided that it just was something that was built in me since I jumped out the womb. But I really decided to make that happen. I would say like really early 20s. I was early 20s, and I was pursuing performing, and did my first big gig. I think it was like 500 people in the audience, and it was at the Ivor Theater in Hollywood.
Right.
Yeah, and it was amazing. I knew then, I was like, I'm gonna do something about this. I got to keep going, and I just kept going, and I actually met with some bands and musicians and played with those guys, and it kicked it off for me. And so from there I started my own. I got my own CD. I did my own single and just started pushing that, and just kept going, and and just kept creating.
Wow, that's so awesome. Yeah, I think it's like once the bug bites you, man, there's really no turning back, is there?
Yeah, no, you don't. I don't, it's really funny you say that. You can take a break. Like I took a break because I had some kids, and so I took a break for a little bit. And I can say this, even taking a break, I had to sing. I was always singing something, and singing, how some people's like, oh, I sing in the shower. Well, I was singing all around the house. The neighbors could hear me. And I would come outside, and they're like, is that you singing? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh my God, and they just loved it. And so it's something that's within myself. It's something that if you're a true artist, it'll stay inside you, and you'll never get rid of that. It'll always be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what was the first experience you remember having with music?
Oh, Well, I come from a musical family.
Mhm.
My father could sing, my mother could sing. We were kind of like the Jacksons a little bit when it came to, because my mother, I had a lot of siblings, and there was like 4 girls and 3 boys. And so we would all be like dancing, and my parents would play music. And my first song, I would say, that really captured that I just loved so much was and I was a little kid, and it was Chucky's in Love. Do you
Mhm.
remember that song?
I don't know that I do. If I do, I don't know it by name.
Yeah, the hook is Chucky's in love. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Chucky's in love.
yes,
Yeah,
I've definitely heard
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I used to listen to something like that when I was a kid, and I used to love it. And so I was really little, and I thought that song was so cute and fun. And so I love music. I would say that for me it was probably around about 3 years old that I just held on to the really good I would say standards and blues. BB King was he's one of my favorites,
Yes,
and yeah, I'm pretty diverse when it comes to music. So I would say, yeah, of course, rhythm and blues.
definitely.
Yeah.
And then I guess you kind of segued into it a bit, but who are the biggest influences on your work and why?
Oh my gosh. Ooh, that's you know, I would say, well, first of all, my mom, okay, because mom's was gospel singer.
Mm.
And she did that, as a kid in the church. And they were trying to get her to get on the radio when she was a teenager to perform back then. It was a lot of forming of the Supremes and, different female artist trios. And her father was like, no, because she's like, no, you're a Christian kid. And so she couldn't do it. But I would say one of my favorite artists is Anita Baker.
Yes.
I love Anita. Her voice is just beautiful. Her music is timeless. She's one, and another one that I love would be Sade.
Yes.
Yeah. So Anita Baker, Sade, um, and Whitney Houston, of course. You can't go without that high first soprano.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Well, and I think that was the first thing I ever heard you sing was "I Will Always Love You." I think was the first thing I had ever heard you do, and
Yeah.
it blew my freaking face off. I was like, "Who am I listening to right now?" It was so great.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that's one of my um I really had to master that song. That song is something that you have to embody it, when you're singing it, and then it just takes off like a rocket, and spreads all around. And it's one of my favorite songs. But Anita, she's got one of my favorite songs that Anita Baker, um, that I love by her is You Bring Me Joy.
Hmm.
That one is real special and jazzy and very, sultry, because she just has that sultry voice.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I actually was in a band that covered "Sweet Love," so I know I got into Anita a little bit in that period of time. Such a great singer.
Oh yeah, amazing, amazing.
So, what's the weirdest thing that's ever inspired you?
Weirdest thing. Um, mm, I don't know. I don't think I have anything weird. I would probably say my family and my friends would probably thought it was weird that I got inspired But I would say by the Doors.
Oh, okay. Tell me about that. I'm intrigued.
I bought okay, so now I'm gonna really tell my age. Okay, so I bought this cassette tape.
I've bought cassette tapes too. You and me are in the same boat.
It was a long time ago, and I was in love with their album. Um, my song was "Hello, I Love You."
Oh
Won't
yeah,
you call
Soft
me
Parade.
your name?
Or
Yeah,
no, no, no. Or no, Hello, I Love You was that was Waiting for the Sun. That's what that was.
yeah, and I used to love listening to that. And there was some other songs that they had that I thought was amazing. And I love the Doors. I mean, the band, Morrison, he was very talented, and you know, anyway, love those guys. I lost my cassette, by the way, on the
Aw,
bus, and
aw.
I was upset. I was like, ah. So anyway, now I'm off into collecting albums again. So I will be looking for the Doors album. They're one of my favorites. I like Led Zeppelin.
Wow. Right
Yeah,
on.
I love them. I also there's so many artists out there that from back in the day that I just love. I mean, R&B, of course, crushed it back in the day. And I would say I like Rick James.
Hang on. Fun fact: he and I are from the same hometown, sort of.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm from Buffalo, New York, and he's from a suburb
Oh,
of Buffalo.
wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like Cam, and then I also like Cameo,
yeah.
Cameo, and I love Earth, Wind, and Fire. There's a lot of what we call today boy bands. Back in the day, those were men bands.
Yes.
Not really boy bands. And it was real music.
Yeah, and I
So
mean, not to obviously bag on anyone's art, but it's true. Like there was a lot more musicality back then, a lot more talent required to do the jobs. Let's just say.
yeah, this is so true. So
Yeah.
of course, you can't forget the songs like the groups like the Stylistics and the Dramatics and uh, beautiful tenor voices. These guys just were amazing. But yeah, I would say that I'm pretty diverse. There's some country music I like,
Uh
you
huh.
know, but my favorite classic, I would say standard, is Crazy. I'm
Oh
crazy
yeah,
for feeling so
Patsy Cline.
lonely.
Patsy Cline.
Yeah.
Such a good. Written by Willie Nelson, by the way.
Yes, I
Yeah,
know.
wild, right?
Just amazing. I mean, talented people making creative music for talented artists.
Exactly. 100%.
Amazing.
So, how has your art influenced other people?
Oh my gosh, I've had so many people come up to me after I performed, um and just out of the blue, oh my god, I used to could sing and now I can't sing, and I would now you've encouraged me to go sing again. And uh you're so brave. You did that Michael Jackson Billie Jean song, and oh my god, I've always wanted to dance like that and sing like that. And I've encouraged a lot of people to actually, like, I've touched on some areas that maybe were dim for them and brought some light to it, and they're like, I can do it. I can do it too. I Once upon a time, I have formed a trio,
Oh,
and it was me and two other girls. And it was amazing. One of the girls could sing. Well, both of them could sing really good, but one was more of a backup singer. But I actually encouraged her to come forward to sing her own solo. And she was like, I don't think I'm ready. I was like, "You ready? You got it." And I worked with her, and because she came to me out of the blue and was like, can you help me do like sing solo and really be out there and belt it out. And I said, yeah, sure. So I gave her some singing lessons. We worked on it and kept working on it. And finally, we formed a trio and we went out and we started performing. And we dressed up like we were the Supremes. We had on sparkling gowns. Oh, it was amazing. And I swear people were just like so blown away. They were just like, you guys need to, like, are you guys doing an album? Like, what's happening? You know?
So awesome. And
Yeah.
I love how you termed it as shining light on things that are dim in a person, because it's true, and especially, I mean, I've seen this as artists go on and they go through their career. Some of them really do, they hit these points or these patches where their light gets dimmed. It's a really apropos analogy, actually. And, to be
Mhm.
able to put that spark and that light back in someone, I mean, that's what it's all about to me. And I really love that you put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, as artists, that's what we do. We spread the love. If the light is dim, we brighten the light and we let others know that they can do it too. If you, whatever art that is, it may not be singing, it could be painting, and the music may have made that person go, I think I'm gonna start painting again.
Absolutely. No, 100%. And then, do you have any pre-show or pre-studio rituals?
mm, candles,
Hmm.
candles, and a gold microphone.
Interesting.
Yeah, light the candles, and I will create. If candles are lit in the studio, the lights are dim. It might be uh then the piano in the pianist is playing on the grand piano and it's real smooth. And next thing you know, I'm writing a song.
Wow.
Yeah, because
And
I can hear some people can just, write the lyrics. I write the lyrics, but I also hear by sound, like the melody. I can hear the melody before I write the words.
yeah.
So I'll just like sing the hook and already have it, and I'll just write it down, and then I'll sing the song around the hook, all the verses and all that stuff. But I can hear the melody before it's even written.
Wow, that's awesome. And I'm getting that visual too of like that setting too. And I can imagine that's gotta be super intense, like in a great way to write in a setting like that. Just all focused and super aesthetic.
Yeah, we did that. There's a studio that's in Redlands in Washington, and
Hmm.
it's absolutely just gorgeous. It looked like mahogany inside. It's just gorgeous.
Oh, wow.
And At the time, I had a producer I was working with, and we had a whole set, a whole band. Um, and the grand piano was in the middle of the studio, and then we have in the studio there are like four or five, like five other rooms with glass doors,
Yeah.
and each of them, everybody's in their own station and playing. And what was amazing about that is that we were gelling all day and all night. We started at 6 in the morning, we got out at 6 in the morning the next day, and we wrote
Oh,
18 songs.
oh my God. Damn.
Yeah, 18 songs. We, we just kept writing and write. I had all the hooks. I had everything already just here. And then my pianist, he says, well, what do you want to do? I was like, I just want you to play. And I'm going to give you that song. He goes, okay. So he would come up with different things and I would just sing it. And my producer was like, I was trying to get us out of here, but it looks like we're going to spend the night.
That's so awesome. People don't write like that anymore, man. That's so awesome. I love those stories. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So when I go back in the studio again, and if I have a whole band in there, and I swear I'm not coming out.
I love that. That's so great. That is like what you just said is like the embodiment of the spirit of an artist to me, you
Yeah.
know? Like, my God, somebody that just meant to do it. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what risks, if any, have you personally taken for the sake of your music?
OMG. Wow. What, that's That's a good one. I used to work at UPS years ago,
Mhm.
and I was actually trying to become manager there. But I was working with a rapper, a well-known rapper from back in the 80s, 90s, early 90s, I should say, 80 and late 80s. Um, and he was turned out to basically he was looking for artists. And so he found me. Someone referred me to him, and then we met up. And what happened was it was just crazy. I had to get my passport. He called me up one day. I was at work, and he says, I need you to get your passport because you're going to Japan. And
Whoa.
I was like, what? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, but I just got this job. So I just started working at this company, and I was great. I was great at the job and a hard worker, good business person. And so anyway, I had to rush to go get my passport. I got the passport. Next thing you know, um, I had to go to Atlanta to meet the band that I was going to perform with. And who was I going to perform with? Well, let me just tell you, I had to sing for Peebo Bryson.
Oh.
Yep. So I sung for Peebo, and it was the best experience ever. I wasn't able to come back to my job because
Needless to say.
I left. I was like, I'm out of here. I'm going to Japan.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Right. And so, but it didn't. Sometimes things don't come out the way you want them to, but you just, you kind of ride the waves. And so I rode the waves. It was a good experience. And I'm glad that I had that experience to be able to do something like that. But my best experience, most of all, I feel like the to me, what's important to me, it would be probably different for others. But I'm going to say that my idol, that I actually had a chance to sing a little bit of something with, and that it was just because she came through and I met her, and that was Shaka Khan.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, talk about a legend.
Yeah. So I will never forget, just a little sweet, sweet thing. And I was just like blown away and thrilled. And she's such a sweetheart, and I'll never forget that ever.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And then what's the craziest risk you've ever seen another artist take for their craft?
Um, hmm. Well, that's, I would say, to bear it all, like maybe, and there was one where, it was kind of too revealing. She kind of took some things off, and it was too revealing. Um, and, I come from an era where you don't do all that, but, whatever works, if that works for that person, it works for that person. But yeah, I'm definitely old school when it comes to that myself, but some people just will do things.
No, it's true. And I'm like you, I'm the same way but like you said, like, I guess if it works for somebody, it works for them. So
That's right.
art is subjective, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
So what's one thing about you that would shock everyone to know?
uh Besides singing, I'm a financial consultant.
Well, that is shocking. Wow. Tell me about that. How did that happen?
I started my own business. Well, I really started entrepreneur 1999, filing taxes for people, and went to school for that. Worked at corporations and just doing accounting and finance work. So now I'm a financial business consultant for a lot of clients. I have a lot of clients that I do financial services for, and I have been doing that since 2012.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's over a decade. That's a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And business is still going good. And I rode the waves, and I beat the pandemic.
Yeah, you did. Oh, good for you. That's so great.
Thanks.
Yeah. And then what's the one thing or the one tool that you absolutely cannot live without as an artist and why?
Um, geez, I can't live without my vocals,
Fair
you
point.
know? Can't live without my vocals because I can go without a microphone. I've sung without one before. And because I've had situations where the mic didn't work. And I just said, that's okay. I'm going to sing without it. And everybody was like, oh my God, because I was able to,
Totally.
yeah, you have to project your voice. And so I really projected it and it just went around the whole room. So I would say my vocals, because that is, if you can't sing, and you're a singer, it's a sad day.
Yeah, it really is. And I've not many, but I've had those sad days myself, and they really are sad.
Yeah. And you just want to sing, but you're like, dang, I can't
It's
today.
just not coming out. Yeah.
No.
So, what has been the most difficult piece of music for you to create and why?
Okay. Uh, there was a song that I wrote, and it was funny. I was having a hard time trying to write this song. It's what I thought about myself. Have you ever wrote something and you're like, it's personal kind of, and
Yeah.
you're like, and you're thinking like, am I being, is my ego shining? Is it popping out too far? Am I, like, just, I'm not trying to be like vain or my head is so big. No, but there was a song I wrote. It's called "I Am a Queen," and
I like that.
thanks. And um, it's not quite finished actually. I'm still we there's some instrumental stuff that needs to get done, but I went to the studio and I was supposed to have the song written already and done. And we got, when I get to the studio, when I got with the producer, I'm supposed to just be like, okay, let me sing it. And so I took the paper and pencil and threw it on the table when I came in there. And he goes, what's wrong? And I go, I can't, I can't, I can't think of anything. I can't. And it wasn't like I had a writer's block. It was more like, am I being too uh bold, with this song? Am I just, and he was like, no, you are a queen. He was like, you're a queen. So write the song. And I said, okay. So I ended up writing the song, but it was difficult at first. But I wrote the song, and after he said that to me and we talked about it, it just went real smooth. And I wrote the song, and he was just blown away. He's like, okay, this song is amazing. And I was like, okay. And it turned out to be really good. So anyway, it's still a work in progress as far as the instrumental mixing and all that stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, and I definitely have found that to be true with artists. Like even if you know your own power, the best ones tend to be pretty humble about it.
Yeah.
And it can be true. Like I'm the same way. I hate blowing my own horn. I'm just not that guy. But anyway, so I can definitely appreciate that. And that, like I said, it's honestly, I think it's a sign of greatness because usually the best artists are not the egotistical type.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I'm kind of like, I'm just real modest about it, and that's how it is.
Yeah, that's right. Now, here's a fun question for you. If you were going to write a book about your career up to this point, what would you title it?
You almost made me say a joke. I gotta be me. No.
Like, I've got to be
I
me.
gotta be me. Yeah. No, you know, I would call it a storm is coming.
Hell yes. There you go.
Yeah.
I love that. By the way, I just realized too, if you're ever going to cover a Door song, you need to cover Riders on the Storm.
Of course, Riders on the Storm.
That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, that's a great book title. The Storm's Coming. I love that.
Well,
I really love that.
I would love to do something like that. Listen, if you know anybody that wants to do that with me, that'd be great.
What, Riders on the Storm?
Yeah.
I'll cover that with you. We'll talk
Okay.
after this. We'll talk after this. I would be
Okay.
very interested. Absolutely. I am a massive Jim Morrison is one of my three biggest influences. I'm a big fan of Robbie Krieger's guitar playing. Just
Hmm.
I love the Doors. So
Me
yeah,
too.
I
Aren't
would
they
love
just awesome?
yes. Oh, so great. So so great. Anyway, I could make a whole podcast out of that. I seriously could. So what are your plans for world domination?
Oh my gosh. It's so funny you say that because I was just sitting here just yesterday and I was like, what do I need to do? I need to conquer the world, you know, and just do it. Right. So for me, the world is going through, our world has gone through so much and still going through so much. So I feel like it needs to be something that is going to be none other than anything out there today. Like it can't be, sex, violence, and crime type of music. It needs to be something that's going to hit the heartstrings,
Yeah,
you know, something personal, something that will touch everybody. Like it has to be, to me, it needs to be a mankind uh type of song that's for anybody, and that they just feel right in their heart. Like this song was made for all of us, you know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I really love that.
Thanks.
And then I have one more question for you, and just to revisit the introduction to this show. So, along with showcasing the best of independent artists, this show is also about exploring what inspires them, what drives them, and what they consider their fundamental purpose as an artist to be. So, Stormy, what's your truth?
My truth is to stay honest about what you do, keep your own integrity. Make sure that stays in and don't let anybody twist you around for other crazy, wild things. Do you be the artist you are, have fun with it, and always communicate with the art that you create, communicate in that way and express yourself and just make it good.
Awesome. That is an incredible end of this interview. Thank you so much for being here. Before we end off, I did want to give you 60 seconds to just plug anything you want to plug. 60 seconds of everything Stormy Stokes. Go.
All right. Well, as I said before, I'm a financial business consultant, and I actually help people clean up all of their financial problems and mess that they get into. I'm the solution person, and there's no mountain too high that we can conquer. And also look out for me because I will be releasing some music here near future.
Awesome. And on that too, I mean, number one, there's a real art to anyone that can master anything, I think. I mean, art is it has to do with communication. And when you get to a certain level with doing things, even something financial,
Mhm.
there's an art to that. And also too, there's no shortage of artists out there that could use that kind of help. So I hope all you artists out there are paying attention and call Stormy because I know artists and particularly musicians and money, that's a real interesting combination. And there's definitely some people that could use a hand out there. So just, that's definitely really great to know that you're out there. And I'll drop, I think your LinkedIn, I'll drop your LinkedIn in the description below this podcast.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everything. And thank you for having me.
Oh yeah. No. And again, it's been an honor, man. What a great interview. And so everyone, this has been the What's Your Truth podcast. Until next episode, see you later.
Bye.
Yeah, you follow your own rules and you preach them on to me. But you don't think before you act, and you ain't got no business with me. You don't know. But then what's your truth? Oh, what's your truth?